Hello students, today we are going to learn chapter 3 of microeconomics, and that is production and cost. So first let's understand what is production. Production is the process that creates or adds value or utility, and it is the process in which the inputs are converted into outputs. Now when we say input, we are talking about all the factors of production like land, labor, capital, technology, entrepreneur, everything. And when we say output, the goods and the services produced or which are converted into final products like, let's say, soap or a water bottle or a car, etc. So what is production function? Production function means the functional relationship between input and output in the process of production. So it is a technical relation which connects factor inputs used in the production function and the level of output. We can say that land, labor, capital, technology, organization, all are production function. So it refers to transformation of inputs or resources into output of goods and services. And in other words, production refers to all of the activities involved in the production of goods and services, from borrowing to set up or expand production facility or hiring workers, purchasing raw materials, running quality control, cost accounting, etc. Like, let's say, for example, a computer company hires workers to use machinery, parts, and raw materials in the factories to produce personal computers. So the output of a firm can either be final commodity or intermediate product, which we call it as a semi-finished product. The output can also be a service rather than a good, such as education, medicine, banking. So when we talk about major factor of production, it is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur or organization. We know what is land, all the natural resources such as surface, mineral, air, water, river, sea, anything which is free gift of nature, fuel, everything. And when we say labor, labor could be mental or physical labor. Now, when we say physical labor, it means that all the labors which are not educated, but it does not require much of higher education or training to do that job. Like, for example, sweeper. Whereas mental labor requires, or you can say it requires specialized training and education, like teachers, doctors, lawyers. So they are mental laborers. When we say capital, it means man-made goods used in production process, and they are mobile factor like machines, tools, equipments, money. And organization includes the entrepreneur or the manager or coordinator who controls, manages, and organizes all the factors of production. Now, when we talk about inputs, inputs could be fixed input or variable input. The factor of production that is carried out, that production is called input. For example, for producing any commodity, all the things which are used are known as inputs: land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, technology, etc. So when we say fixed input and variable input, fixed inputs remains the same in short period. At any level of output, the amount is remaining the same. And the cost of these inputs are called fixed costs, like building, land, machines. All these are fixed input. We are not going to invest machines and building every year for production. It is a fixed cost that when you have incurred that cost, it is a long run cost. It will keep on remaining the same with every production every year. Whereas variable inputs, in the long run, all the factors of production varies according to the volume of output. And the cost of variable input is called variable cost. Like, let's say, for example, that for manufacturing a pen, you require ink, you require plastic, etc., which are variable cost, because once the production is done for that particular year, again for the coming year you will have to purchase all the raw materials again. So those are variable costs which keeps on recurring with every production. Now these are the various concepts of production, that is total product, average product and marginal product. Total product means the total amount of output which is produced. That is the amount of total production which has taken place in that particular year. That is total product. Average product means the total output divided by total units of input, which means your AP is nothing but TP upon L. And your marginal product is the extra product or output added by one extra unit of input. That is when there is change in your total product due to change in one more unit of your variable factor. Like let's say for example that when you are using one labor, and with the help of one labor, if you are using or producing let's say 10 units, by employing second labor your now output has increased from 10 to 20. With the third input of your labor, output has increased to 30. So with every additional unit of your input or a variable factor, your output is changing. So change in your output due to one more extra or additional unit of labor or input. That is why we say marginal product is equal to change in total product upon change in L. That is your labor or input. Now here we can see short run production function with labor as a variable factor. So if you observe, we have kept labor as a variable factor which keeps on changing or increasing, and we have kept capital, which is a fixed, which we have kept it constant. So with every increase in labor, let's say from 0, when the labor was 0, the output was 0. So when the labor has increased from 0 to 1, output has also, total output has increased from 0 to 10 and so on. Which means that with increase in labor, my output is also increasing. Now, how do we calculate average product and marginal product? Let's see that. Let's see over here, we can observe the average product. Your average product is nothing but when we have the total product, let's say our total product is 10. 10 upon that labor 1, 10 upon 1 is 10. Then with the second input of labor, that is second 2 labor, my output is 30. So 30 divided by 2 gives me 15. Then my output has increased to 60 with the third labor. So 60 upon 3 is 20. So this way I can get my average product. And talking about marginal product, as I said, change in your total product due to change in labor. So if my total product is 10, then what is the next change? 30. From 10 to 30. So 30 minus 10 gives me 20. 60 minus 30 gives me 30. 80 minus 60 gives me 20. So this way I can get my marginal product. You can see understand this curve, we again need to go back to the table and compare all the three. If you observe this table, the total product keeps on increasing. It is not going negative. So in the first stage, it is increasing, and then after that it becomes, and it starts increasing but at a diminishing rate. If you observe and average product with marginal product in the table, we can see that in the first stage up to first line, we can see that marginal product is more than average product. We can compare the last two rows, 10, 10, 15, 20, 20, 30. So if you observe, marginal product is more than my average product because total product is increasing. So average product is also increasing. And when average product is increasing, my marginal product is also increasing and it is positive. In the second stage, when average product starts diminishing, or when in the second stage, when average product is at its peak, then my marginal product is 0. And in the third stage, as soon as my average product starts falling, marginal product goes negative. So we can observe that in the first stage, when we draw the curve, marginal product curve should be above AP, that is average product. After reaching its peak, as soon as the average product starts falling, marginal product starts falling even much more at a higher speed than the average product. And that is why we can see in this diagram that total product is increasing. And when we talk about average product, which is in pink color, and marginal product, which is in blue color. So we can see that earlier marginal product was above average product. After reaching its peak, then it starts when as soon as the average product starts falling, marginal product starts falling even faster. So this is the relationship between AP and MP, that when AP is increasing, MP is greater than AP. When AP, that is average product, is at peak point, that is equilibrium E, then your marginal product is also equal, so it is 0. And then as soon as average product starts falling, my marginal product becomes negative, or MP is less than AP. Now, the law of production function, we have studied two things, that is law of variable proportion and law of return to scale. Now, what is law of variable proportion? Law of variable proportion, we can also call it as a law of diminishing return. That is, we have short run production function with at least one input is variable. And in law of return to scale, we have long run production function with all the inputs or all the factors of inputs are variable. It is very simple that in the short run, it is not possible to change all the factors. Whereas in the long run, we can change all the inputs or all the variable factors. So short run production function with at least one variable factor, like what we saw in the table, that we had kept labor as a variable factor and the other factors like capital, it was constant. So production function with at least one variable factor, keeping the quantities of other inputs as fixed. And it shows the input and output relation when one input is variable. So if one of the variable factor of production use, more and more units keep the other inputs fixed, and the total product will increase at increasing rate in the first stage, as I said, and in the second stage, TP, that is your total product, continuously increases but at a diminishing rate, and eventually the total product decreases. We can see that in this same table which we have seen earlier, that in the first stage our total product is increasing 10, 30, 60, 80, and then in the second stage it is increasing, but the ratio of difference from 10 to 30 was 15. Then slowly we can see then from 95 it's going to 108, which means even though it is increasing but at a diminishing rate. And in the third stage it starts falling from 108 to 100. So we have three stages. First stage is increasing, second stage is increasing at diminishing rate, and the third stage where it is decreasing. This is the same curve which we have seen earlier: total product, average product, and marginal product. So what are the stages of variable proportion which we have seen in this, or law of variable proportion? As I said, there are three stages. First stage is increasing, second diminishing, and third is negative. So when TP increases at increasing rate till the end of the stage, please remember total product can never go in negative, because none of the firm would like to work or invest when they are facing losses, and finally they will have to shut down if it's going in negative. So total product, it diminishes but it never goes into negative. AP also increases and reaches the highest point at the end of the stage, as we saw in the diagram. And MP also increases and it becomes equal to AP at the end of the stage if MP is greater than AP. And in the second stage, that is diminishing return, TP is increasing but at a diminishing rate. AP and MP are decreasing but they are still positive, and MP becomes zero when TP is at its maximum. We can see in this diagram that when AP is at its maximum, then your MP is zero. And in the third stage, TP decreases, that is total product decreases and total product curves also slopes downward. And as the TP decreases, your MP becomes negative, that is marginal product becomes negative. And AP is decreasing, but it is positive. So this was all about law of variable proportion. Now let's talk about law of return to scale, which is a long run production function. As I said that in the long run production function, all the inputs can be changed in the same proportion, which means that all the inputs, be it variable factor or fixed factor, be it labor or machines or tools or equipment, all the factors can be variable and it can be changed into the same proportion. So production function with all the factor of productions are variable and it shows the input output relation in the long run with all the inputs being variable. So we can say that return to scale refers to the relationship between the changes of output and proportionate changes in the all factors of production. We can see law of return to scale here. It is not in negative because it's a long run production. So in the long run production, the producer or the manufacturer has all the facility of changing the inputs, be it labor or machines or capital or anything. So they have the time to make the changes and there is flexibility for the manufacturer or the producer to make changes in any of the factors. And that is why we can see here in the table that labor and capital are increasing. And as it increases, your total product also increases. But there are again three stages in law of return to scale. In the first stage is increasing return to scale. Second is constant, which shows that after employing certain amount of labor, after that certain point, if you employ labor or capital, then it is not going to increase your production, because after a certain level of point, the production becomes constant. And in the third stage, if you keep on increasing labor and capital, then your total production may diminish. So these three stages are increasing return, constant, and decreasing return to scale. This is another example, as I had told you earlier, that in the increasing return to scale, let's assume that your input is increasing by 10% and your output is increasing by 15%. So this is a stage that with investment of your input, or let's say if the input you have increased by 10%, then output is also increasing by 15%, which means that you're getting good return. And that is why it is called increasing return to scale. In the second stage, if your input is increasing by 10% and your output is also increasing by 10%, which means it is a constant return to scale, that even after employing or increasing 10% increase in input, your output is still the same, 10% increase, which means constant return to scale. And in the third stage, if you are increasing your input by 10%, but as a result, you are just having 5% increase in your output, it means that there is decreasing return to scale. Now, when we talk about homogeneous production function, as I said that in the long run, all the inputs are variable and the production function is homogeneous if all inputs or all the input factors are increased in the same proportion in order to change the output. So we can say that increasing return, constant return, and decreasing return is the same example which we have seen earlier. In the long run, as I said, all the inputs are variable and linearly homogeneous function, if the production function is linearly homogeneous, if all the inputs factor are increased in the same proportion and output is increased in the same proportion, which means that if the input is increasing by 10%, output is also increasing by 10%. So it is a constant return to scale. These are the isoquants. Isoquant represents all the possible combination of two input factors, be it labor or capital, which is capable to produce an equal level of output, which means that you can have all the possible combination of two input, like let's say labor and capital. It is up to the producer that which combination they want to take, whether they want to take more of a labor or more of a capital, or they want to keep both as equal. So it is the combination of two inputs which can give you an equal level of output. This is marginal rate of a technical substitute and the slope of isoquant curve. As we saw that with the two combination of input, we can have the same amount of output. So it is the rate at which one factor of production is substituted with the other factor. So the level of output remains the same, which means your change in labor upon change in capital. That with the change in one factor, what is the result? Thank you very much. I hope this concept of law of variable proportion and law of return to scale was helpful to you. Thank you.